What's happening, everybody? Shelton J, Think About It Radio. I'm with the owner, founder, 3UFirst, Mr. Terrance Amen, and I am so happy and excited to be speaking with him tonight. And y'all just sit back, relax, and be motivated. Can you dig it? Mr. Terrance, how are you this evening, my brother, on Motivation Monday?
I'm real good, my brother, real good. I just want to thank you for having me on your show, and I'm looking forward to having a really good conversation.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Thank you for your time. Thank you for what you're doing for the community, for your love, for your passion, for your consistency, my brother. I really appreciate it, man. We're going to get into this whole 3UFirst, what it is, why do you need it in your life, and how can you get involved. Mr. Terrance, let the people know what's going on with you, my brother. The floor is yours.
Well, yeah, so I started 3UFirst. It's actually based on my book. The name of the book is Black Unity, the Total Solution to Financial Independence and Happiness. And so I was going to start a nonprofit, you know, but what do nonprofits need? They need money. So it made me realize that, you know, I needed to start a for-profit company that could fund the nonprofit side. And so that's what 3UFirst is all about. It's about using the money that we're already spending and use it to create institutions that we don't have in our community so that our people can actually at least have a choice, at least can focus on what we want to do rather than having to, you know, continue to go outside our community for everything, you know. And so 3UFirst is basically an online shopping mall where people can shop for the same name brand products and services they normally buy. And we also have black businesses on there as well. But unfortunately, we're spending 90 to 99% of our money outside our community. So rather than just have black businesses, I said, well, why don't we have, you know, mainstream businesses? Because unfortunately, that's where we're spending that money. So we have mainstream businesses along with black businesses. And so that way, elite people will have a choice if they want to shop black or if they want to shop, you know, in the mainstream, then they have a choice. And so what we do with 3UFirst, because we're promoting these businesses, we receive a commission. And so what we do with that commission, we use that to put it back in our community in order to create jobs, business investment opportunities, funding nonprofits, sponsoring, and also creating wealth. So, you know, right now we're in the first phase of a three-phase plan. And so the first phase is, you know, raising capital, you know, generating revenues, and also building our brand. But 3UFirst is really the difference between 3UFirst and any other business, black or white, is that we put the money, 90% of the money, back into the community. Most businesses, black or white, they only generate revenues for the owner or owners. And the difference between 3UFirst is we generate revenues for our community. So that's kind of what it is in a nutshell. There's a video on 3UFirst, and 3UFirst is spelled the number 3, the letter U, the word first.com, 3UFirst.com. And so we put the money back in our community because we're trying to build institutions. Because, you know, you look at the last 40, 50 years, our leadership has not really solved the major problems in our community. They've accomplished some good things. They've done some good things. But we're still dealing with the same problems we've been dealing with the last 40, 50 years. You know, this job, you know, getting jobs. You know, part of our community can't get jobs because they have records. And so they end up doing the same thing they went, you know, to jail for in the first place because they can't get a decent job.
Yep.
And so these are one of the issues that we address at 3UFirst. These are one of the things that we talk about. As far as sponsorship, you know, we have Juneteenth, Black History Month, Black Film Festival. Every year, man, our organization's out there banging on doors trying to fund their organization when we spending all this money, billions and billions of dollars outside our community every day. So that's kind of what we want to do with 3UFirst is we want to be the funder of our organizations, of our business investment opportunities. We want to be the sponsor because they're people. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We just want to support the organizations and the businesses that are already out there doing the other things that we need to do in our community. So like education, health, we want to create our own institutions because we're discriminated in every you name the area, we're discriminated in.
Oh yeah.
So we need to have our own institutions, and we used to have our own institutions. That's the crazy part. We had everything. We were self-contained because we didn't have a choice. We were segregated, but we gave up our independence, for this so-called integration. Now, it's an experiment that still hasn't, gone well in our community because, like I said, we're still doing the same things we've done 40, 50 years ago, man. It's crazy.
It is. It is, though, man. And that's the funny part about it. You ever heard the term illusion of inclusion, right?
Right. Yes. That's it, and it's all about the program, too, because, we still dealing with the psychological effects of slavery, which is another area that we need to focus on and change. Because if we don't change that, then nothing else is going to change. That's what's making us not shop within our community. We come up with all kinds of reasons not to support our community. When the outside community is doing the same thing, but we'll make an excuse saying, well, we're just going to still shop there. But you let us make a mistake in our community. I'm not shopping there no more. I ain't dealing with none of that
bad
no
mouth
more.
You to everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we still dealing with the light skin, dark skin, man. That's insane, man. So all that stuff comes from the slave mentality. And the sad part is that we don't even know we have these issues. We think everything is fine until something happens, and then we get woken up. But these are things that we have to really deal with. And I address this in my book. I talk about it in my book, and I also talk about it in the company. Because what we want to do is support. We have a Black Psychology Association, and they have the tools. They know what's wrong with us. They know how to change our mindsets, to reprogram ourselves. We got to reprogram ourselves to love ourselves again, to trust ourselves again.
Yes.
To respect ourselves again. Because these are the major issues why we still not supporting each other. The perfect example of the insanity in our community is the fact that we spend 90 to 99% of our hard-earned money every single year outside our community. Who does that? Who else does that?
Self-hate.
Nobody.
Self-hate does that, my brother.
Yeah.
Self-hate does that with no remorse.
So that's the ultimate example of why we still are dealing with these mental issues that dates all the way back to slavery. And the fact that we haven't dealt with them is the reason why we continue to do the same thing. We haven't changed. That saying, a sign of insanity is doing the same thing but expecting a different result. Well, that's our major problem right there.
Yeah.
We keep doing the same thing, thinking something's going to change, something's going to be different. In order to get a different result, you got to do something different. And 3UFirst is that difference.
I like it, man. I like it. How can people get involved with 3UFirst, man, that want to get involved, like put their business in with 3UFirst, get involved with sponsorships, anything of that nature? How can they do that?
Well, there's different ways they can work with 3UFirst. Like I said, right now we're a startup. We're only a few years old, but they can support 3UFirst by making a donation because we have a crowdfunding page where people make a small donation. We ask for $10, $20 a month. $10, $20, not a month, $10 to $20, because we want this to be on a national scale. We're not trying to get take people's hard-earned money, hundreds, thousands, like somebody else did, and rip them off. This is a national front, and so what we're trying to do is get a small amount, a realistic amount, and so that we can put in place the things that we want to put in place. Like, for example, we want to put in place a plan where people can save money, raise money, or even make money through promoting 3UFirst, but we don't have the resources yet to put that in place. And so this is one example of how we'll be putting the money back into the community, back into our own hands. And this is like an automatic way to recycle the money in our community, So these are the kind of things. They also, now, if you don't want to make a donation, you don't want to put any money, then just simply search and shop on 3UFirst.com. I mean, because we have, like I said, we have all the major retailers, Amazon, Walmart, all of those major, Macy's, all those major retailers. And by doing that, you're actually contributing to 3U First, and so, like I said, we take that money, the money we receive, the commissions we receive, and we put it back into creating opportunities for our community. So those are the key things that we have where you can support 3UFirst. As far as businesses, that's what we want to do, and we're not there yet, but we want to have certain businesses on the site where we're promoting their business. At the same time, when a sale is made, we receive a commission.
Right.
And so we just started that. That's not like the main source right now. We haven't, because of the lack of capital, and that's another reason why people should support 3UFirst, because, and this, most of my businesses, they have the right plans but they don't have enough capital to hold them over until they become profitable.
Yeah.
And so this is one of our major issues with our black businesses. And so, and the advantage that other businesses outside our community have opposed of us. And this is also another way what we want to do. And, like I said, it's all based on, us receiving the right amount of capital or right revenues. We want to have it set up where you can invest in 3UFirst. Because we want to start, a lot of companies, they tell people this, they tell the masses this, and they end up making the bulk of the money. No, 3UFirst is the opposite. We want our community, because we feel we can get the masses of our community, then everything else will take care of itself. Mm-hmm. And so we lost half our wealth in this so-called Great Recession. I call it a depression because, especially in our community, but we lost half our wealth because our investment is in our home. And so you saw what happened with the subprime loans and the foreclosures.
In the industry, man. Oh yeah, I was there, brother. I seen it was crazy.
Right. So we don't invest in stocks and stuff. So what we want to do with 3UFirst is create companies where we can invest in these companies that are geared towards our community. And also, I wanted to tell people so that they, I know time is short, can't talk forever, but I asked your audience to watch the video called The Real Solution on 3UFirst.com. Please watch that video. It's a short video, but it explains exactly what 3UFirst is all about, what it was created to do, and how we're going to do it.
Excellent
and so
video,
I always
too.
tell people, thank you. And I always tell people, to please watch that video. And then you'll see, because there's opportunities out there for our community. Oh, my goodness, there's so many opportunities, but we can't take advantage of it because, either we don't know about it or, you haven't done the due diligence, or, you're just, a little nervous about it. But this is what 3UFirst was created to do. So we can spread our money where we can become, wealthy as a community, like all these other communities, and we can solve our own problems. Because nobody's going to solve our problems but us. Government's not going to solve our problems.
Nope.
So it's up to us, and that's kind of been the problem. One of the problems why we haven't really reached our full potential, and that's what 3UFirst is all about. 3UFirst is about helping our community reach its full potential. Because we don't even know our value. That's the insane thing. We don't know our value, but everybody else does. Everybody else knows our value. That's why they come in our communities with all these different businesses. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Whether it be local. Yeah, absolutely. Whether it be local or national, they know our value.
That's the same reason why they come into the neighborhood and recruit the kids for colleges. They know they value, right?
Oh, man, don't let me get started on that. I talk about that in my book, how that's how our black universities, HBCUs are going down, because we going mainstream. We're going to mainstream colleges and not getting the best education, not necessarily, but then having to deal with all the negative discrimination and all that crap that goes along with it,
Yeah.
And but I talk about our athletes, I mean, our HBCUs used to be able to compete on the same level as all these top colleges right now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. We were kicking their behinds, and so they said, wait a minute,